Skillopedia, the place to learn skills for the real world. Well, you're with me, Niharika, and what are we going to talk about today? Well, are you a manager or a leader who leads a team? Well, then part of your role is to give feedbacks. Well, feedbacks are very essential for individuals and for all teams. Well, because people want to know how well they are doing or where they can improve on. Now, in the industry, there are many managers and leaders who fail to do that. In fact, there are many managers who do not give any feedbacks at all. So do not dread, people. Well, today we are going to help you with some tips that would help you to give feedback. Well, the very first tip that I have for you is leave the negatives at the door. Well, remember, people, that feedbacks are not criticism. You cannot act like a big wild cat who is all ready to pounce on their team members. That is wrong. Well, it's very easy to fall in the trap where you can only point out the negative points. But always remember that people do right things more than doing the wrong things at the workplace. So it's important for you to notice these positive things. Positive things like people hitting sales targets, someone who deals with an angry customer fantastically, or even hitting the deadlines. So always appreciate the good work. Now, when it comes to something negative, when a person does something wrong, of course, feedback is important, but you cannot end up using threatening negative language. You need to choose your words correctly. So always remember to keep your negative words away and always try to use the positive ones in order to give a good feedback. So what's the next thing that you need to keep in mind? Well, you need to be specific. Now, giving a feedback effectively is a skill. And when you do it the right way, with right intentions, you would see the difference. Now, people or your team members want to know the things that they're doing well, and also they want to know what are the things that they're doing not very well. So you need to be specific when you give a feedback to them. Of course, there are people who are very judgmental. You as a leader cannot be judgmental. You need to observe specific behavior of the employee and mention it to him or her. For example, you can't end up walking to your team member and say that you have lousy people skills. That's incorrect. That's definitely not an effective way of giving a feedback. Well, what you can do is give an example. Now, probably that team member of yours behaved in a very aggressive way with one of your clients, and you definitely don't appreciate that, and you want to give that feedback to him or her. So please be specific. Mention that you noticed, you observed that you behaved in a very aggressive manner with Mr. Johnson, and that's not acceptable. And also give him tips and suggestions to how he can work on this. So that's how you need to be specific when giving a feedback to your team members. So what's the next thing that you need to keep in mind? Well, you need to be quick. Well, sooner you give the feedback, the better. You don't have to wait for an appraisal or for a meeting to take place in order to give a feedback. Any certain behavior that you observe or any event that has taken place, well, grab that opportunity and give a feedback. It's also important for you to be consistent. Well, you give a feedback today, and then the next feedback that you give is 10 months later. No, that's not going to work. Well, timely feedbacks are essential. Your thoughts and suggestions matter the most to all the employees in order to attain success. So people, Make sure that you be quick, you address issues on immediate basis. Well, the last tip that I would like to share with you is an actionable feedback. Well, an essential feedback should be always concrete, specific, and useful. So how do you do that? How do you work on these things? Well, firstly, always give a feedback that can be acted upon. Now, there are certain employees who just don't care. So why waste your time? You should give that kind of a feedback that can be acted upon. Also make sure that the feedback is taken in a very positive manner. Now, there are certain employees who just don't like to take feedbacks, who always take feedbacks in a very negative manner. So you have to make sure as a leader whether they have understood and taken the feedback in a positive way. And then the last thing is that you need to give them an opportunity to talk about what they think about this issue or about this feedback. Because even what their opinion is, it will matter for you. It will help you to work on giving better feedbacks to other team members of yours. So people, always remember to give an actionable feedback. So giving a feedback is always going to be a challenge for you, but you can enhance your performance by following these tips that I have helped you with. So please do follow these tips the next time you have to give a feedback to someone. And I'll be back with a new session soon. Till then, you take care and do subscribe to our channel Skillopedia, the place to learn skills for the real world. Hey friends, you are with me, Niharika. This is the place where you can improve your life skills, communication skills, and business skills. Well, today we are gonna look at some tips to deal with awkward silences in a conversation. You know, there are times when you are having a conversation with someone and then your conversation hits a snag. And then you think to yourself, uh-oh, awkward. Well, yes, silences or to fill in these empty moments is quite difficult for many people. Am I right? Well, people get a little nervous, they get a little uncomfortable, and few of them think that we totally fail in socializing. Well, that's not the case. Well, today I'm going to help you with some tips to deal with awkward silences. Hello friends, I am Niharika and welcome to our new channel. Well, here you will learn life skills, communication skills, and business skills. So tune in to us because we have lots of sessions for you that would make your life much better. Well, in today's session, we are going to talk about Steve Jobs. Yes, the co-founder of Apple, but also known as master presenter. Well, have you ever got a chance to see the Apple presentations? They're absolutely amazing. Well, yes, Steve Jobs was not just focused on statistics and technology, but also focused on communication skills. So in today's world, it's important for our leaders and entrepreneurs to carry on his legacy. Therefore, I'm going to share some techniques, presentation techniques of Steve Jobs so that you present just like him.